Today's adventure begins here, along the pathway going to Woodland Ferry Terminal. And I'm looking at the Atlantic Ocean and I can see 3 cruise liners. One over there and 2 over there. Welcome everyone. It's Aaron James here, and thank you very much for tuning back in to another episode of AJ's Guide to Awesomeness and Beyond. As of the recording of this episode, it is August 30, 2024. September is about to rear its head a few days from now. And today's episode, I am going to Halifax because I decided to make a Titanic video episode, meaning I am going to visit the gravesite of those 150 people, bodies of those 150 people that were recovered from the shipwreck back in April 15, 1912, when the famous disaster, probably the mother of all disasters, when the open ocean happened. I am going to visit the grave sites of those bodies that were recovered and distributed among 3 graveyards in Halifax. I haven't been there, so this will be my first time to visit the Titanic grave sites. And I don't know how I'm gonna feel really. Unfortunately, it is an unfortunate, accident, the shipwreck, but it's part of our history, and a lot of lessons were learned from that disaster towards the betterment of ships and maritime services. But it's really unfortunate that had to happen. And then I'm also gonna visit a filming location of the 1997 movie Titanic. Yep, directed by James Cameron, starring Leonardo DiCaprio and Kate Winslet. However, the shooting location here in Nova Scotia was only for the modern scenes of the film, like the early part with Bill Paxton and Gloria Stewart, the old lady, the old Rose. So I'm gonna visit that location as well, show it. So yeah, I'm really excited for this day. So go ahead and grab your curiosity paddles as you embark with me. And the weather is good as well. It's not that hot, the sun is up, but it's cold. So go ahead and grab your curiosity paddles as you embark with me in another ocean of adventure. Now the cemeteries where the 150 unclaimed bodies were buried are in Fairview Lawn Cemetery, Mount Olivet Cemetery, and Baron de Hirsch Cemetery, also known nowadays as the Beth Israel Synagogue Cemetery. Yeah. And I'm now approaching the ferry terminal. What better way to go to Halifax by boat? My mode of transportation to Halifax must also be, of course, in line with the theming of today's episode. It's really beautiful just looking at the ocean, isn't it? Very relaxing. Up on my way to Halifax. Okay, I'm now waiting for the ferry to take me and the other passengers to Halifax, but Take a look at that gargantuan boat. It's like a battleship of sorts. It has some structures built on it. I don't know what that boat is for, but it's really beautiful and really big. Oh, there goes our chariot. Goodbye for now, Dartmouth. See you again later. Now, according to the Maritime Museum of the Atlantic, out of the 1,500 victims of the wreckage, only 337 bodies were recovered. And then, like 119 of those bodies were buried in the sea. And then, the remaining were claimed by their relatives. Some of the bodies were sent back to their communities. Then 150 bodies of the Titanic victims are buried in Halifax. 3 cemeteries, like I mentioned earlier. First stop is the Fairview Lawn Cemetery. I'm just waiting for bus number 90 or 29 to arrive, and it will take me there. Yeah, that is downtown Halifax. And I finally made it here to the Fairview Lawn Cemetery, located at 3720 Windsor Street. City of Halifax, Fairview Lawn Cemetery, established in 1893. And take note that dogs are not allowed anytime. And just upon your entry, there's already a signage that states where the Titanic gravesite is. And there are certain protocols that you must follow. If you take a screenshot, it will last longer. So I'm currently locating the Titanic gravesite. Oh, there's a signage there that says on the right. Very peaceful graveyard nonetheless. Peaceful and quiet. There it is. Titanic gravesite. Oh, located section, and I am not alone. There's like a tour guide over there. Yes, I come in peace. This is the gravesite. The 150 victims, a large portion of them lays here at the Fairview Lawn Cemetery.
I was here on Monday and completely different set of toys. So this happens quite a bit, like even a little teddy bear. So he actually underlines, highlights the entire tragedy of it. Now again, this is why I call these men true heroes. They did the right thing, not knowing what the future would hold. Even Mr. Campbell, who's buried over there and who died in the 60s, would never have known that this was going to happen. What is this? good luck. That's, I mean, I'm guessing. Yeah. So, now, it's curious enough, Mr. Dawson, J. Dawson, Joseph Dawson, often gets love letters. So, this is, but or flowers, sometimes flowers. And certainly not as much homage.
As you can see, the graves, the tombstones, headstones for that matter, are arranged in the form of a ship's hull, meaning the outer body of a ship. It's quite to capture the shape because there are quite a lot of people. They form ship's hull. All of the headstones, the victims buried here at the Fairview Lawn Cemetery. Paying my respects and homage to the heroes of the tragic event. Some bodies are identified, only numbers.
But you can relate to it coming from California.
Now, Leonardo DiCaprio plays Jack Dawson in the movie, but what a coincidence, there's a J. Dawson who was also a victim of the tragedy. Okay, so I've spoken with someone here in the cemetery. The J. Dawson here is just a coincidence with the Jack Dawson that Leonardo DiCaprio plays in the movie. The name of this person is actually Joshua Dawson and not Jack. Okay, that was it was a great honor for me to visit those graves. Really a profound feeling nonetheless. I'm now headed to the Mount Olivet Cemetery, where there are also 19 the victims that are currently calling Mount Olivet as their final resting place. Finally made it here to the Mount Olivet Cemetery. It's a Catholic cemetery established in 1896. And as usual, no dogs allowed in cemeteries. It's time to locate the Titanic gravesite. There's a signage upon your entry. And this is a brief history of the cemetery as well. Okay, on to the Titanic gravesite. And I finally located the Titanic gravesite here at Mount Olivet Cemetery. All 19, if I'm not mistaken. There are still some who are unidentified. Only the date, April 15, 1912. There's someone who has a photo, Henry M. Joliet, one of the passengers. There's also a signage here: Voyages remembered. Titanic, a significant part of Nova Scotia's unique marine heritage. Just pause the video if you guys want to read it thoroughly. Yeah, just pause the video. There's also a signage information board beneath this huge tree, still about the Titanic. And just again, take a screenshot or pause the video if you guys want to read it. Voyages remembered. Now, according to a good gentleman that I've spoken to a while ago, who directed me to the Titanic gravesite, there are also some victims of the Titanic that are buried in the far end side of the cemetery. They are like Lebanese or Jewish people, because Mount Olivet Cemetery is a Catholic cemetery. So probably that's the reason why they are like on a separate portion of the cemetery. So I'm gonna check that out as well and show it to you guys. Okay, so I couldn't locate those Lebanese or Jewish graves that the gentleman was talking about. This is the far end area, corner of the cemetery, and all of those are the soldiers that died during the explosion of December. Oh, sorry. No, these are some soldiers. These are unidentified Catholic dead killed in explosion of this December 6, 1917. Definitely not the Titanic. Sorry. Some of these are some soldiers who died. They are being honored in this grave. Okay. I guess that's it for this Mount Olivet Cemetery. And I finally made it to the Beth Israel Synagogue, also known as formerly known as Baron de Hirsch Congregation. Alright, so you can see my reflection on the door. Beth Israel Synagogue seems to be closed. They are not open and there's no people responding. Anyway, I'll check further. If not, then I'll just move on to the shooting location at Halifax Harbor. Okay, so luckily I've spoken with someone who has access in the inside. Obviously they are closed today, but I was told that what's inside the Beth Israel Synagogue is just like a little temple for worship, some not a museum, but like some storage for artifacts or something like knives, and there's nothing related to the Titanic. So again, I went here because that's what's stated in the interweb. So the Fairview Lawn Cemetery and then the Mount Olivet cemeteries had the Titanic victims, but in the internet it's also said that Beth Israel Synagogue also houses some of the victims like corpses. So but there aren't, apparently, according to the one that I've spoken with earlier. So anyway, with that said, I'll just head to the Halifax Harbor to show the filming location of the Titanic that was filmed here in Nova Scotia. Alright, so I'm finally back here in downtown Halifax. And that huge body of water over there is where James Cameron filmed the modern day scenes of Titanic. No, the one that's featured Bill Paxton and Gloria Stewart. It was said that they shot it off in a like a Russian boat. So yeah, that huge body of water. That's where they shot the opening, the modern day scenes. Now there were like the major filming locations of the Titanic movie in 1997 took place in Baja California and in Mexico. So there were like the huge sound stages there where they recreated the boat and then matched it along with some enhance it along with some CGI to capture the sinking and other scenes that they wanted to execute. So again, James Cameron utilized a Russian ship to film those modern day scenes with Bill Paxton, who plays Brock Lovett, and of course Gloria Stewart, who plays the old Rose DeWitt Buccaneer, and also James Cameron's wife, Susie Amis Cameron, who plays Lizzie Calvert, was also part of those modern day scenes among the other actors, supporting actors. Yeah, it was filmed in this body of water. Heading back to both sides now. Before I close this episode, there's one more establishment I want to show you guys. It's also related to the filming that took place. When James Cameron was filming the Titanic here, a horrible incident happened to them during that night when they concluded their filming. I'll tell you that in a bit. And so, for the final, not location, but the final establishment for this episode brings me here to Dartmouth General Hospital. And this has something to do with the filming that took place here in Nova Scotia of the movie Titanic. According to my research and in the articles on the interwebs, on the final shooting day of the Titanic here in Nova Scotia in Halifax Harbor or Dartmouth Harbor. So on their final day when they wrapped up when they're shooting here in Nova Scotia, their meal for that night, which was a lobster chowder, was laced or spiked with PCP or with phencyclidine. Yeah, with phencyclidine or PCP in short. It's an illegal street drug that, of course, causes you to get high, stoned, etc. So all of the crew members were stoned, including Bill Paxton and James Cameron himself. So luckily, Gloria Stewart, the older Gloria Stewart, who was I think 87 years old back then in 1997, she was 87. She decided to dine out, and because she didn't like experience that I would say like horrible mishap. Somebody, as the police did not have any leads of who did it. It could have been a crew member who was just like trying to give a little like to get some of his peers high on their final shooting day, but maybe he placed too much PCP, or it could have been the catering, but both sides denied it, and it's just a case that has just been forgotten over the years. So up to now, the culprit was never caught. I don't know if the authorities are still interested in finding out who that culprit was. But sadly, it's a sad and a bit I don't know, no, definitely not funny. Bill Paxton said in an interview that he saw the crew members laughing and crying on their way to the hospital. So this is where they got confined during that incident with the lobster chowder here here at Dartmouth General Hospital. And that's gonna do it for today. Thank you very much for watching. If you like this particular episode, please give it a big thumbs up. And please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and go ahead and ring that notification bell to keep you posted on future episodes. Thank you again for watching, and I'll see you again in the next episode. Another time. Another place.